Hey, what's up, guys? All right, y'all. Welcome back to the OS Rick Project, episode 77. How are you guys? Welcome back to the show. I hope everything is well. How have you been? How is everything? What you been up to? What have you been watching? What have you been playing? I know the podcast has been a little bit erratic right now, but I've been on vacation, work's going on, and just trying to get in the swing of things and everything. So the schedule's been a little crazy, but you know what? We're gonna get it. We're gonna get it fixed, guys. We're gonna get it set, guys. Um, Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. Hope everything is well. What have I been up to, guys? I've been playing. I've gone back to playing Final Fantasy VII remastered, remake. I can never tell the difference between the two. But I'm playing Final Fantasy VII again. I figured with the sequel coming out in the end of February, I should play the game again just to get a refresher, get caught up on what's going on, get familiar with the mechanics. And I've just been playing it on the normal story mode, not the normal mode. I remember trying hard mode, and that I remember getting to freaking Hell House when you're trying to get Don Corneo's favor, and that was freaking rough. So I was like, you know what? I don't need to get all the freaking platinum trophy achievements. I just need to play this game. So, so I went back. So the second playthrough, I'm just going. I started a fresh file, and I'm just playing the game over again, trying to get familiar. And I'm playing on the PS5. I got the upgrade for it, which was a free upgrade, by the way. So I've been playing on that, and I do intend on playing the DLC with Yuffie after the game. So I've been playing that, trying to get caught up. It's fun. I like it. It's been a while since I played it. When it first got released back in April 2020. So going back almost 3.5 years later, it's fun. It looks great. I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying it. I like how you still have, and I said this before, guys, when I spoke about it. You still have to play it, even though you're it's more action like with bouncing between your characters, which I like. I'm starting to explore more with Tifa and using Eris more. But you also have to remember to use turn based if you want to make sure you're constantly using all your abilities to stagger your opponent and increase the maximum damage as you can. And like I said, I'm playing on normal mode and I'm still having a challenge on some bosses, but overall, I'm having a fun experience with it. I do like how you constantly have to be changing up your materia so you could be on top of whatever situation they throw at you. There's usually several different enemy types in every chapter, so you kind of want different kinds of materia. But sometimes you can get around with just using, the same materia, especially if majority of the enemies have the same weakness, or well, the way I've been playing is, yeah, kind of do that. I just kind of give everybody the same material and just stack as much damage as I can possible. Because usually the trash they die relatively quick. So I've been playing that. What else I got about that? Oh yeah. And I was trying to compare it to when I was playing Final Fantasy 16, and man, it does look really good. Now, remember 16 being fun and also looking great, but 7 being even an older title, it still looks phenomenal with the PlayStation 5 face. If I play on performance mode, guys, so I try to get or prioritize the frames, and yeah, I've just been playing that. It's been fun. What else have I been playing? I think that's about it, really. Oh, I did Cyberpunk, guys. I went back to Cyberpunk 2077. So I got me I was able to get my hands on a NVIDIA GPU, 4070. So I've been able to play, and I know I could play it on the other GPU, but I wanted to play on the NVIDIA because I wanted to see the DLSS. I wanted to see all the features, all the bells and whistle you turned on. And I gotta say, going back to Night City, it looks phenomenal. I love the eye candy. I like how everything looks. How you can see the reflections off the ground from the wet floor, and the lights bouncing around. I mean, visually, it has it going on. It's great. The gameplay, I feel it's kind of your run of the mill open world adventure. It doesn't do anything bold, nothing unique. And even the story, I really don't really care. And it being first person view, I had to take a break from the game. It was getting me nauseous. So I went back and looked around and I did experiment with a little bit of different settings. So I changed like the view angle or viewfinder, or I think it's view angle. I changed it up to 100 and then I changed around some settings. So hopefully this will help, because it was just not a fun experience, because I guess I don't really play that many first person games. So trying to get used to it, it was just kind of jarring just moving around. And I was playing it just on controller. I mean, I could try on mouse and keyboard, but if I could play on controller, it'll be fine. I have no issues with it. I did have to at first. I was playing without any like target assist, but I was just bouncing all over the place. I was like, you know what? Let me just. I'm like, it's a PVE environment. Let me just, if the game, if the crosshair snap to an enemy, I'll be fine. I don't care. So I've just been playing that way. But yeah, I've been bouncing between Final Fantasy 7 and Cyberpunk 27. But like I said, visually it's there, but the story, I just, man, I kind of just play that like on Sunday evening when I got nothing else to do. I just want to goof off with chat and stuff like that. Guys, are y'all still playing Sony's Marvel's Spider-Man? I kind of like seen a lot more stuff on it. I'm not playing it right, nor do I intend to. And after seeing what Sony first party does, or after what Insomniac has done, like at this point, I don't think I have any faith in Sony first party. And I just feel like what they're doing with, especially with Insomniac, and you've kind of seen it with these other games too, is like they're just starting to pander and virtue signal just to get like brownie points with whatever alphabet communities out there or whatever. It's just ridiculous, right? And I was thinking about it too, and I saw it, right? I saw where they have the different gender and sexual orientation flags flying on somewhere in the game. And I know some of you are gonna be like, it doesn't matter, dude. Just turn the shit off. It doesn't. Like, no. It does matter, dude, because that's how it starts, dude. They start with little things, little subtle things, and just making it big, and it just start changing everything. And next thing you know, you're not even playing a game now. You're just getting freaking told what to do and not to do, and self-censor yourself if you have an opinion that goes against the grain. And you know what? I wouldn't have an issue if they did that and actually stuck with it, right? Because the Middle Eastern version of the Spider-Man game, they remove all of that out. I think that's complete bullshit. Like, they just erase if you are, a different sexual orientation of what's acceptable over there. And I think that's ridiculous. Like, if they would have stuck with it and said, okay, we're going to leave this in the game. If you don't like it, too bad. Or they would have said, okay, we're not going to sell that in that region. I would have been like, okay, you know what? You actually like are standing for something. I would have, like, that wouldn't have bothered me. But the fact that they do that, where they just like completely remove all that content out, I just find that ridiculous. It's like, they don't care about you. They don't care about what sexual orientation you are. They just want to sell it and pander so they could get people to watch it. And I'm tired of that. I think it's ridiculous. And I've kind of seen it before. It's been going on for a good while, at least with Sony first party. And I think after just seeing what they've been doing, I just like, you know what? I'm really just not. I'm going to speak with my wallet, right? Just not support any of this Sony first party, which isn't a shame, because I was looking forward to playing Insomniac's Wolverine when that eventually comes out. But after seeing this, like, just have a lot of pause and reserve about all that stuff. And look, I was actually looking it up. Someone else brought the point that Square Enix, they just did not sell Final Fantasy 16 in the Middle East because one of the characters is gay, and it got banned over there, so it wasn't sold. It's not being sold over there. And instead of them changing their content and instead of them censoring their content, they're like, okay, we're just not going to sell in that region. We're not going to sell it to Saudi Arabia. With that, I stand with that. That's fine, because you know what? You at least had what's my cat doing? You at least stood up for your artistic vision of the game, and you know what? Good for them. That's the way you do it. Not the whole trying to pander and trying to get it brownie points, because that is not the way to do it. And I'm just tired of that BS. Oh yeah. Also, same with Spider-Man. The whole changing the Spanish language because apparently one of the NPCs in there has a Spanish-speaking podcast, and they just changed. I don't know if you guys know this, but the Latin language, French, Spanish, Portuguese, they are they're different genders, la, le, stuff like that. El carro, la, la flor, the flower, they're male and female. Even they decided that they're going to change the Spanish language and make them genderless, make them neutral. It's like, what kind of freaking hubris do you have that you're like, you know what? We're going to change the Spanish language. That doesn't make sense. That's ridiculous. That's freaking stupid. It's like, you're changing the language because you want it to fit a certain criteria. And the last one I want to talk about, guys, the whole mixed flag for Miles Morales. They put a Cuban flag instead of a Puerto Rican flag, which he's Puerto Rican. It's like, you guys have the flags of all these sexual orientations, but you couldn't get the Puerto Rican flag, right? I also saw some people talking about how they know that playing as Mary Jane on the first game wasn't, nobody was a fan of that, so they decided to give you more Mary Jane missions. And I seen some of the final fights. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna spoil it, guys. I'm not gonna spoil it for you because I don't know who's listening. But I watched the ending, the final fight of that game, and I was like, oh my god, it's just ridiculous. Whatever Sony and Disney and Marvel are doing is just, I don't know what it is, but I'm not a fan. I think it's really stupid. Besides that, guys, I did see, you guys probably seen it too, the next Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. They said they're going to be using the Unreal Engine 5, to make that game. And they showed some stills and some side by sides of the old engine and the one that Konami had, and then I forgot what that engine that they were using. And they're putting it next to the Unreal, and it looks phenomenal. It looks great. Now, my only concern is how well is Konami going to be able to use that engine to make it run acceptable, to make it run well. Now, if it was the Unreal Engine guys that had a hands-on and they were doing it, I would probably feel a lot more confident because they probably know the ins and outs of that engine and know how it works. But them leasing it out to Konami. I'm not saying Konami doesn't have, talented staff. I'm not saying that. Nor am I saying that. But what I'm saying is, the Unreal Engine people, they know how to work that system in and out. The Konami guys, I don't know. And we kind of seen it with the Lords of the Fallen, which I was excited for, and I'm still kind of excited for, but I'm going to wait. I'm still waiting on that one. Besides, I had a lot of bills come in. The way they use, it had some issues. It had some PC issues. So I'm kind of still kind of reserved on the whole Unreal Engine. I mean, yeah, they used it with Fortnite, and I think that's running well. I don't know. I don't play Fortnite. I don't play those games, but we've seen Lords of the Fallen come out with that. Lords of Avium come out. That one flopped, but that one came out with it. I don't know I don't think the performance was all that great. So it kind of gives me a little caution when Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater Delta comes out. So I don't know how you guys feel about it. Am I looking too much into it, or is this something that you guys are also concerned about? Let me know how you feel about that. What else I want to talk about? Oh, this one's a big one and near one, big and dear, close and near to my heart. And I don't know how you guys feel about it. Now, I'm sure, you probably don't play fighting games as, it's probably not your main type of game, right? To play fighting games, because I mean, face it, fighting games are not, the most popular. They're kind of more niche, and that's fine. That's great. That's great. But Microsoft is having it set where any third-party controller manufacturer now will be banned from Microsoft. Will be banned from their consoles. The system will give you a warning that in 2 weeks it will not read this peripheral and you will not be using it. And now I bring up fighting games, right? Because usually with fighting games, you have a tons of options when it comes to controllers, right? I mean, we know you can always use your pad controller. You can use, your arcade sticks. You can use your leverless, and then there's some like homebrew controllers that people make their own stuff. They get like a Brooks converter, and not only that, do they, make their own controllers using a Brooks converter, but a lot of people will use maybe like an Xbox 360 controller or a PlayStation 4 controller, or name your controller of your choice. They'll connect it to a Brooks converter. The Brooks gaming converter will connect to the console, and it'll translate the inputs from whatever non Xbox non Microsoft controller into where the Xbox controller or any console can read the inputs as if it was a native controller for that console. Microsoft banning that now, I'm pretty sure if you play fighting games, you're probably not playing on the on console. I'm pretty sure you're not playing on either Xbox Series X or S. They're usually played on PC or the PlayStation. But I'm sure there's a few people out there, and this is just the way I see it through as a fighting game player. Like, this is not really good for anybody who does that, especially if you don't use, if you don't like using Xbox One controller, Xbox Series X controller. Having to use another controller and then it not being able to being played on that platform, I think that's going to be terrible. It's going to suck. And the thing is, I remember seeing something where Microsoft says, they're working with controller manufacturers to make sure they are licensed and everything, and to get a license or to get licensed and have their stuff up and running. But then it got me thinking, is like, who decides how to get a license? And does that mean like the death of all third-party controllers? I mean, yeah, there are some companies that do have third-party that they are officially licensed, but there's some other ones that aren't. And especially like, I mean, I don't play on Xbox, but I do have a leverless controller that they use their own proprietary technology. I think they might use a Brooks converter also, but even then, Brooks converter is not licensed. So a lot of people who have their own handmade controllers or their own stuff that they bought from like Paradise Arcade, or controllers that they bought from Junk Food Arcade, or even from Hitbox, I don't know how that's going to work out. I mean, what concerns me the most is if Microsoft does pull this off, when they do this, I can imagine that their competition, Nintendo and Sony, is going to be looking, and they're going to be saying, oh, we can do that too. We can make them start buying our peripherals, or peripherals that are licensed through us, that have to go through us, and they have to pay us to get a license so they could put it on their product. That's what I'm worried about, guys. I really hope, and I know is this right now, the way I see it through the lens of a fighting game player, but I would hate for the other two console makers to get into us and get the same idea. Now, I'm not saying that will happen. I'm just saying it's a possibility. That's why I always say that you should probably, if you're still playing on consoles, you should probably start moving to PC. I love it. I've yet to go. I mean, the only time I play the console is if there's an exclusive on that I just can't get on PC. But of course, besides the advantage of not having to pay an online subscription, this was coming on the horizon for Microsoft. It's kind of scary with the corporations, just taking over. Because what's to say, what's the next thing they want to like not let you have that you have to go through them to get? I don't know. I don't know because it doesn't feel like you own your console anymore. Little by little, you're gonna have to start getting it. You know, the console maybe will be yours, but all the software and the extra stuff you're gonna have to get it via them or through them or some of the third party they find acceptable to get it from. So I think that's about it, guys. I just want to talk about that before I lost. Like I said, I make some bookmarks and I make some little notes here and there, and I just want to make sure I get this down and just share it with you guys and see what y'all think about it. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to do a little quick podcast, and that's about it. If I come up with anything, I'll make sure to write it down and include it on the next one. Yeah, guys, like I said, the podcast, I've been changing, trying to keep it to more little smaller 20-minute 30-minute bite-sized stuff like that. Well, bite-sized, it's not 20 minutes, but still. Anyways, guys, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Have a good time. Take care of yourselves. Go play some video games. Have fun. And as always, let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments what you feel. Do you think it's important? Is it not important? Especially when it comes to Spider-Man and Square Enix and the whole self-censoring and freaking pandering and signaling. I'm just tired of it. I just don't. I want to play my games. I want to play a game. I don't want to be attacked with pronouns or flags or sexual orientation. Like, I just want to play a game with good characters, with a good story, and good mechanics. All right, guys. That's it for me. That's it for tonight. Have a good one. Take care of yourselves, and I will see y'all next time. Bye, guys. Oh.